Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to some of you, and peace out to the rest of you. Hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. Look, you know, as much as I hate to say it, it's got to be said. The N-19 culture is not forgivable. And the N-19 culture is what led to Michael Jordan being belittled and called corny. And bullying to me is beyond just calling somebody corny. I define bullying as something that involves either physical contact or a physical threat of physical contact. I know that was redundant, but you get the idea. Insults I don't really count as just bullying, but I would say this. We Western N-19s, and I don't like to say we, but we Western black folk have such a toxic N-19 culture that when someone gets insulted, it becomes dangerous. It's dangerous if that person, once the person's been insulted, the environment's no longer safe for that person. See, Hitler did this, but Hitler relied on the crowd. He relied on followers to go behind him. And later on, due to his father's people, what he didn't do himself, he relied on that. Well, here's where the problem came in. While Hitler relied on something like this, the fact remains that we have a culture in which we'll do something like that, where one person will insult us. And if the person really doesn't deserve it, then we will turn around and treat them like they deserved it, as if they started this, because that's who we are. We'll turn around and take that situation and act like they got their just desserts, as long as they actually didn't deserve it. And then if they actually deserve it, we don't give it to them. So you take someone that's been doing this to people all the time, and he's a master roaster, but he's also the class clown. Everybody wants to be on his good side. Then one day someone roasts him, but that kid's not, he doesn't have quite the social standing. Then we're going to turn around and react differently. Now, I remember this one chick named Candace got mad at me about something, and she was saying things that weren't even true, kind of just pulling stuff off the top of her head. And everybody was going, ooh, she cut you down. And I realized she's making stuff up. If I had said the same thing, it'd have been corny. No, bro, no. Well, it turned out, Candace had a big booty. And she developed chesticles early in life. Okay, all right. That's what that came down to. Now she's just a post-wall chick with a big old 8-head and braces. But she's married to a high-value man and has a family she's looking for. I'm not really tripping off her so much as it is the N-19 reaction to her, because she was Candace. What I'm saying is that we've got that toxic culture, and that has a lot to do with why it is that things probably were not safe for Michael B. Jordan coming up. It's not the fact that he was assaulted. That happens to everyone. But we have a culture that exaggerates that, especially for the males, and then says to them, says to us, well, that's a part of life. But then when the women turn around and do it to each other, then all of a sudden everyone feels like they need to push for a more positive social environments, even amongst teen girls, as unrealistic as that is when they're Western negresses. We got to cut that mess out. There's no reason to promote a safe environment for young teen males. It can be done. It's not impossible. We just don't want to act like it can be done. And this makes our population a community of N-19s, if you even want to call it that. I, for one, black men, are very proud of you, because you are mentally checking out of that plantation prison N-19 culture. And the sisters aren't. See, the sisters want to see people hurt, but they don't want to get their hands dirty themselves, and they've relied on gynocrat goons and matriarchal mamdingos that they didn't really want, that they could friend zone. They always wanted them that they could get to beat up someone for them. We represent the end of that. Passport bros don't just represent the taking of resources out of the population of N-19s. We also represent mental liberation from that prison plantation because they know that Massa's not enforcing the perimeters anymore. If you walk off, Massa's cool with that. Just don't try to integrate too closely with Massa. And when we get passports, Massa don't mind and we don't mind. We're like, screw you, Massa. I'll leave. Massa's like, here's your passport. Bye. Go on over there and mix with them because we're not necessarily trying to get into the panties of their daughters in many cases anyway. Not that they would really care much, but we ain't. Where do we usually go? The tropics. It might be the same women they like, but I mean, as far as they're concerned, there are enough of those women to go around. So, sisters see this to a certain extent. Now, I don't think that Michael B. Jordan was wrong for reacting because she said we go way back. So, what you mean way back? Went to school together 1 year, ain't seen you since then, but I was a corny kid, right? Now, even if she didn't call him that, he remembers her that way for some reason, and he was still pretty nice about it when she asked the questions. And then she wanted to turn around and say, well, I didn't call him, maybe she didn't. Maybe she did, doesn't matter. You called him something because he remembered you that way. And you were talking about we go way back. It'd have been better to say, well, I wouldn't expect him to remember. I just happen to remember that for 1 year we were in the same school. And matter of fact, I wouldn't have even mentioned it had I been in her shoes. See, most of us aren't going to reach Michael B. Jordan's level of success. But we still have to deal with this unnecessary hostility, and it goes beyond just the insults. That's actually somewhat tolerable as long as we're allowed to fire back, which we're not. But it goes into the fact that the danger awaits once someone insults us. That's what's really dysfunctional and unforgivable about it. And Chris Rock, when he did his comedy sketch, he was right to roast Will Smith. He said, I know you can't tell on camera, but he's significantly bigger. And you know what? That is a big part of the problem right there. That really is, actually. See, when you're that much bigger than someone and you're an adult and he's a comedian making a joke and he's not even insulting your wife, you got every right to look at your wife and say, oh, get the F out of here. And when people start saying, oh, no, he needed to stand up for his woman, that's when you say, how about you fuck the shuck up because he's smaller than I am. I could have a talk with him about it. I don't have to start violence. I can contain it if he does. That's not what happened. And he was right. This is an easy way for Will to say, man, I ain't no punk, bruh. If you ain't no punk, which is fine, don't be. But if you ain't no punk, you need to go back to her and say to her, that's what the F you get, effing that boy. I didn't determine when you were going to get your payback, but you got it. Now I don't have to cheat on you. Maybe I think he still needs to. And that's the thing. It's still cheating, so he might as well just go ahead and leave her. I think he should go to Eastern Europe and get one of those divorces from her. And then when she tries to divorce him in California's court, be like, no, bro. No, Your Honor, we already took care of this divorce in another jurisdiction. What? Yeah, it's right here. In any case, the California court has no jurisdiction, Your Honor. It's been done. Wait, really? Yep. He should actually set up residency there, if anything. Find a jurisdiction that'll handle the divorce favorably to him, set up residency there. That's who has jurisdiction. Offer her a payoff, be like, you know what? Here's some money. You can go right now. We're going to get this done in the DR on these terms. You'll be done quickly. The point is, even though Will's been a victim of this toxic culture with no accountability, he turned around and victimized someone else. And I, for one, am very proud of you, most of you men that are in my audience, for doing two things. One, going against this N-19 culture. And number two, hitting the share button and letting these young cats know about it. We are no longer going to continue and fund and uphold and enable N-19 culture. We got black culture, and we can keep the good from that, and we can take that with us wherever we go. Because people can see that. They can see the shine. We're the ones that can take the good everywhere, and people will see that and they will remember that. And we can leave behind the jigabosity, the spear chuckerism, the Tarzan chaserism that Boom Shika thinks is supposed to define us. And that she does not demand from Brad if he wants to reproduce with one of them in the offhand that ever does happen. Oh no, he doesn't have to have no swag. And he doesn't even have to not smell like urine, as accountability commentary stated. Damn that culture. And damn those loyal to it. Thank you for listening as always. Black heart, black mind, blackout. Assalamu alaikum and black, heterosexual, non-select male power just because they don't like it, and black patriarchy until extinction or judgment day. Thank you for flying again with me on Jet Black Airways, where jet black is also a verb. Keep jetting black with me till the wings and the wheels fall off this mother cuss word. Gender justice forever.